Aloha divers, I'm Byron.
I'm Connor.
And we're with Kona Freedivers, and
we're here to go ahead and take a look at Spyderco Knives. We do carry a lot of different Spyderco knives now. We never used to, and we decided because most of our dive guides use them and love them and swear by them, we figured we'd bring them in and see how well they've done. They've done great so far, and there's a lot of reasons for that.
And Connor's a knife freak, and he wants every single knife available on the planet. So we have them now. Every single knife you could possibly want, we have at Kona Divers.
With the exception of the automatic knives, which I'm still trying to work with the legislature to get changed.
But those are illegal, so don't show them all.
Yeah, right. Okay, so here we've got an array of what we carry. We start out small, little guys like this. I believe those are the Dragonflies. This right here is an H1 steel.
What would you use that for?
This one would be a good kind of backup knife. I'd actually like to have this maybe strapped to my BCD as more of a safety knife, just to quickly pull out and get rid of stuff. If I wanted something that if I use more, like if I'm picking up trash, I'd probably want a little bit bigger knife, a little bit more durable on that. Although the durability on all these are insane, I believe they all have a lifetime warranty. So I mean, it's can't really go wrong with that. And a big reason for that warranty is because they're so confident in the material that they're made of. H1 steel is really unique in the fact that it is a type of stainless, but the main difference between that and other random stainless steels is they use a process that incorporates nitrogen in the steel. And what that does is it stabilizes the metal, makes it a lot less likely to corrode. In fact, I've got this one here is from one of our dive guides. I think it's Milos Knife. I don't even know if Milo ever actually cleans it. I would suggest cleaning your knives, but I don't think Milo does.
He does send it to Spyderco occasionally.
Get them sharpened.
To get it sharpened and also if anything goes, happens with it.
Awesome. And so that's another reason why Spyderco is cool is you can do that. You can send them in and they will end up sharpening it for you and fixing anything that's wrong with it. So
this is an 8-year-old knife and has hundreds and hundreds of dives on it.
Yeah.
I would recommend if you're a scuba diver, this is a great way if you don't mind it dangling off of your BCD. If you don't have a pouch or something for it, it'll dangle. But it's still pretty tight. And it's really easily accessible. You can just unclip it really easily with one hand. And then obviously you've got the one hand open as well. So it's pretty easy to operate underwater. And typically when you select a knife, it depends on your use. So you're gonna wanna look at the different kinds of blades based on your use case. For me, I really like the blunter tipped knives for scuba diving. This is another blunt tip version of the knife. These are kind of a drop, they call it a drop point, where the point kind of comes down. It's a little bit blunter, a little bit straighter cutting edge at the end there. You've also got like a completely flat blade. Something like this would be great for scraping. It also happens to be pointy, so this would be good for spearfishing. This would work well for spearfishing. How do you feel about the blade for spearfishing, Connor?
It'd work. The straight edge, the pointy tip, that's what you're looking for in a spearfishing knife. Of course, all of them are designed for diving. So mainly when you got a knife, and here's a really good example of a spearfishing knife. So this one's actually designed specifically for spearfishing. The reason is it's got 2 sharp edges. Now I like that with a dive knife. Main reason with that is that if you get caught up in something, you don't want to have to take time and look for a sharp edge, especially if you're freediving. So this, you can swipe at it with either edge and it will cut. It's got the serrated edge for tougher stuff. So if you get caught into rope or something that needs a little bit more muscle behind it, serrated edge is where it's at. The other cool thing with this is the point. So 99% of the time, all you're ever going to do with your dive knife, if you're a spearfisherman, is brain fish. You want to put them out of their misery. You want to make it to where they're not moving, they're not kicking, they're not attracting sharks. So yeah, this is really designed for spearfishing, and it's sharp. So spearfishing, you're using, that's Dyneema. I believe that's 600 pound. I should say like a coated Kevlar. But yeah, so both of those. Yeah, that one's not actually sharp on that side.
Oh, it's not?
Oops,
okay.
No.
That was a bad take.
Yeah, it was.
It just looks like it's sharp.
Yeah, it does.
It looks close to being sharp.
All right, well we can redo that spot.
Yeah, that's okay.
All right.
Or do you want to just talk about that knife again? But with
Yeah, this one in particular, while some of these will work for spearfishing, this one's going to be the one that's designed specifically for it. Main reason it's got that pointy tip. So it's got the serrated edge on there, so you can cut yourself free of any of the Dyneema. That'll even cut through rope, nets, stuff like that. But this tip is where the important part comes in. If you're using it for spearfishing, you're generally going to be using it to brain fish. And the reason behind that is you want to make sure those fish are dead, you don't want them to suffer, and you also don't want to attract sharks with the movement of the fish. So this is perfect for it. It's a fixed blade as well, so usually you don't want to have an extra step when you're pulling your knife out every 15-20 minutes to brain a fish. So it's nice to have that straight edge. You don't have to open it and close it each time. So yeah, this is a great knife. This one's actually called the Fish Hunter.
And why would you want a serrated edge versus a straight edge?
I like the serrated edge better. Well, they both work fine, but I like the serrated edge because it can, if it's something really stiff, something really hard to get through, that's going to make short work of it. You can saw at it as well as just cut. So you know, even cable, I would imagine you could probably cut through some of the smaller stainless cable with this. You'd have to put some muscle into it. You wouldn't want to do it a lot, but I'm sure if you needed to, you probably could.
Also, one thing I like about serrated edges is if you are cutting something hard, you accidentally cut like rock or something, even when you're just cutting fishing line or whatever, I feel like the serration still stays sharp in the divoted parts.
Yeah.
Whereas the straight edge it'll just get dull pretty quickly.
Out, yeah. It kind of affects the whole edge. So.
But if your knife does get dull, you just send it back to Spyderco. They'll sharpen it right back up for you. Send it back home to Daddy, and you're good to go. Unless you're a mama, then they send it home to Mama. If you're neither of those, they send it just to you.
Well, they'll send it back, is what he's saying. They'll send it back to you. But anyway, so yeah, that's the kind of the line of Spyderco knives. There's a couple different steels. We didn't really touch on that. There's the H1, and then there's also the LC200N, which are these kind of this style here. They both have that nitrogen process built into the steel, so you know, both of those are going to be super rust resistant. So yeah, I would recommend getting one. It's perfect for a BCD for scuba diving. Got the Fish Hunter for spearfishing. Some people like the foldable for spearfishing. We've got a whole bunch in here. We can also bring some in. So if you don't have them, come in. You can talk to us about it, and we could probably get them in the mail for you really fast. So yeah.
Yeah, and how would you mount these as well?
There's a few different ones. This one I've noticed comes with a belt mount. So this is the Fish Hunter. So there's a couple ways that you could do it. You could do it on the belt mount. They also have this little slot here. If you wanted to, you could probably do straps, but this one is particularly designed for for your belt. So, and then there's like, here's a good example of a strap. If you wanted to wear it on your arm, you could fit this on there, and then that way you can wear it on your arm. I don't know. I think this one I'd probably want to mount it to my belt, but it's kind of up to you. So that's how you do that one. Again, these ones, kind of like Milo has done here, they've got holes in the base of them, and you can actually fit Dyneema. You can do hardware, stainless hardware. You can do clips, all sorts of stuff. So that's another way to do it. I have friends that'll have something like this. They'll just leave one on their float, just in case, just as a backup. So yeah, multiple ways to kind of mount those on there. Yeah.
Which is important because if you lose it, you don't get to use the lifetime warranty to get it resharpened or repaired. So you got to make sure you keep that knife and the receipt as well, and you'll be good to go.
Yep.
All right, divers, thanks for joining us for this Spyderco Roundup. We'll see you in the next video. Ahui.